Hi, everyone. If I can steal your attention from the food for a moment. Hi, everyone. I'm the host of this networking launch. I'm the CEO of International Health Charity Association, IHCA, as you know it. And it's been a pleasure to have everyone here. And in a moment, we will start this networking launch. Of course, we will have some good food, but also you will listen to our sharings. And without further delay, let me introduce Ms. Li Jing, CEO of Guoqiang Public Welfare Foundation, to deliver a welcome remarks.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, good afternoon. Thank you. It's truly an honor to be here in the beautiful country with all of you today. I'm Megan Li Jing, from the Guoqiang Public Welfare Foundation. First and foremost, I would like to extend my sincerest gratitude to our hosts, IHCA and ITU, for creating such a meaningful and vital platform for dialogue. What we have explored at this summit clearly shows how both AI and mental health are changing our future. AI helps us deliver resources more efficiently to reach people in need. AI provides new tools to help us better understand, prevent, and deal with challenges affecting both mental health and education. The Guoqiang Foundation finds new ways to help people, mainly working on education innovation, talent development, and youth empowerment. So far, its contribution to these fields is over $1.6 billion. It's also a great honor to have helped over millions of people to solve some problems. We believe AI will make our work more powerful and create greater value for society. And we look forward to collaborating with all of you to create meaningful impact worldwide. Finally, please enjoy the wonderful food and drinks and a wonderful lunchtime. Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Li Jing, for this wonderful speech. So let me give you a brief introduction of the program of this launch party. So we will have some presentations of Social Innovation Network of IHCA, and also we will have elevator pitches from some of the guest speakers who show up at our launch today. And after all that wrap up, we would like everybody to exchange ideas freely with everybody. And that's the point of our networking launch. So without further delay, I will go to my presentation. So I'm here to talk about AI for Good Social Innovation Network. Let me start with a question. So if any of you have seen this when you surfing on the internet, I think most of you did. At the surface, we saw like seems like a pretty silly way to prove you are not a robot by testing if you recognize two words like levelers and critics. I was puzzled when I first encountered this. Then I learned that it is actually part of something bigger, part of a bigger collaborative project. When we type the words into the chatbot, what we do is actually training the computer to recognize these words, to read these words. And the computer can turn the words of picture into text. Actually, in this way, thousands of issues of New York Times were digitalized in this way. Not also millions of books of encyclopedia were digitalized in this way, since they were not taxed at the first place. It is a pretty daunting task for any single person or even company to try to digitalize millions of books. But if we break down the task into smaller units, into 2 words per person, per time, suddenly it's not a mission impossible, and it gets done. Start with this little game. I want to introduce the concept of cognitive surplus. In this case, these 2 words, this typing is your cognitive surplus. You don't feel it, but you are contributing your cognitive surplus to something bigger. The little game may seem a little trivial, right? Since just like word typing, proving you are not a robot. But this way of doing things, this cognitive surplus, actually inspired a lot of different practices, different much larger projects. Wikipedia, the largest encyclopedia, online, offline, in human history, is made this way. People are not full-time contributors, editors, or experts to edit that. People use their free time, their expertise, their knowledge to do that. But together, here we go. Firefox in the middle, the 5th, sometimes the 4th largest browser on the whole internet space, is actually made this way. It's made by Mozilla, a foundation, and it's not mostly developed by full-time professional developers. Actually, it's mostly by a community of developers who may not know each other, but collectively, they made this happen. And also, OpenStreetMap, the largest non-commercial online map. Everyone can just bring out their phone, take a snap of the room, of the street, and upload it on the OpenStreetMap. It seems trivial, but together, millions of people do that. OpenStreetMap is able to form a map of the entire globe, every street, every town, every village. The world isn't running out of time or talent. It's just not organizing it well. It is called by Clay Shirky. He is the one who writes a book titled Cognitive Surplus, which inspired this talk today. For us, the next question is how to leverage cognitive surplus in AI era. We see Wikipedia, we see Firefox, we see OpenStreetMap. They are all amazing projects on the first generation internet age. But now, when we're entering AI era, what can we do? How can we maximize the potential of every person's cognitive surplus? It's a question that we're asking ourselves. If you've been to our morning session workshop, you will already know this app. I will give another brief introduction of it. It's called Qijia AI. It is an AI mental health coach that we are trying to develop. And it will mostly target to parents with parenting issues, with kids that have moderate mental health concerns. But the main point here, right now, for me, is not to tell you about what the app is for. We already talked about it in the morning. Actually, we'll talk a little more in the afternoon. Right now, at this launch, what I'm concerned about is actually how it is built, not what it is for. The interesting thing about that is, when we built this, we made a decision that we're not going to start a company with shareholders and hiring developers, professionals, give them salaries, bonus, equity, incentives to do that. Of course, that's a amazing way to do that, and a million of companies have already done that way. We want to leverage the cognitive surplus of volunteers to do that. Then here comes the challenge. How do we design a process, a framework, like Wikipedia, like OpenStreetMap, that allows any people, any layperson, any non-specialist to contribute to this process? That is why we have AI for Good Social Innovation Network. Let me show you how it works. Here is our official website. Right now, because it's predominantly for Chinese market, Chinese users and developers, so the default language is Chinese. But nevertheless, we have English translation here for you to understand. So the idea is that we want this space to be like Wikipedia, to be like a playground that anyone can sign in and register to be a volunteer to contribute to the developing of this app. For example, you can go to our public task board to claim the task. I'm sorry that the part down here is not fully translated. I will translate for you. For example, in this section, it says experts with psychological training. In this section, it says parents who have experience in dealing with mental health issues of kids. And in this section, it says prompt engineers. And in this section, it says trained therapist. So whoever you are, but if you are interested in mental health, if you have some kind of cognitive surplus in that field, you can contribute. So, but specifically how? If you click that, you will go to another website. Here, it's a workstation. So let's say right now, you assume the role of prompt engineer. What is prompt engineering? It sounds very techy, but it's actually quite simple. Basically, you tell AI what to do. You write some passage, a prompt that tells AI how to behave, how to talk like a therapist. And anyone can come to this workstation and come up with a prompt that he or she thinks works to help the AI to be trained as better therapist. Okay, I know a lot of guys may ask, I don't know anything about prompt engineering, right? It still sounds a little bit like too professional for me. That would be a very legit question. So to lower the barrier for contribution, actually, you can turn to here. For a good example, please refer to the leaderboard list of prompt. Okay, so let's now click this part. So here, we will have a look of all the prompts that are already made by other volunteers to train the AI. And you can see there's actually a scoreboard. So you can, for example, maybe let's take a look at the highest score by far. So now we have the prompt that someone else generated. And sorry again that it's not fully translated, which we'll work on later. And what you can do is that you can choose to optimize upon this. It's really simple, just click. Optimize upon this. Then you don't have to come up out of thin air. You are standing on the shoulder of somebody. You can take a look at the prompt and decide whether it's good, whether there's some room for improvement, and do your own improvement. So also for guidance, on the right side, you will have a description of assessment dimension that guide you what are the keywords, what are the dimensions that we try to make the AI mental health coach to behave like. And that's not even the best part. The best part is that, how do I know if the prompt that I made is good or not? Here, you can run a test. When you generate conversation by the prompt that you make, we will test that against real conversations that are documented, and to try to test if the prompt can be good at these different scenarios. And actually, because right now there's actually cost to every kind of test. So we even put a small price tag on this test, but it will be borne by the cost will be paid by the organization itself instead of volunteers. So after that, you will have your own prompt in this scoreboard. If it is better than the previous best one, it will end up at the first place at the scoreboard. So yeah, it all sounds pretty interesting, right? I know that some of you may ask another question, is that who decides which prompt is better? How we evaluate? How does this score come about? Then let me introduce another thing. So to briefly give you an analogy, we developed two models, a player model and a judge model. A player model is the prompt. So we want different people to compete with each other to come up with a better player prompt. And then we run the judge model to judge that. At this point, you will need to switch your roles into psychologist. So if you are a psychologist, if you are a trained psychologist, so at this part, it's not completely non-professional. That's actually invitation only. We will invite psychologists on this section. They will review the dialogues that we have here. And they can determine, so yeah, here we go. For example, we just have the prompts, right? And the prompt talked with scenarios. And they have a dialogue, they have a conversation. So how do we know if the conversation lives up to the standard of good therapy? We come up with different dimensions. For example, cooperativeness, goal alignment, empathy, positive feedbacks, and emotional linking. If you are a trained psychologist, you can go into these conversations and rate, give scores to how the prompt does. As you can see here, it will ask you a series of questions to evaluate. For any single psychologist who does this revealing, there might be bias. There might be lack of expertise. It may not be entirely representative. But I think that is the beauty of cognitive surplus. When hundreds of thousands of different psychologists come in and do the review, it will even out bias, and it will be more representative of how currently humans think what good therapy looks like. And right now, if we compare our AI judge model with the true human evaluation, if the alignment they show is more than 80%, then we will know that we have a pretty good AI judge, right? Basically, the AI can look at transcripts of therapy sessions and decide whether the therapist is good or not. And the judgment won't be very different from a human expert. In this way, we have two pipelines, the player pipeline and the judge pipeline. Whenever the judge gets better, it poses more strict criteria against the player. So the player has to do better. And every time the player does better, it feeds more data. It gives more information for the AI model to train and to judge. In this way, right now, let me go back to my PowerPoint. In that, what I just showed you is actually how this app is built. Right now, we have 0 shareholders. We have the minimum amount of professional developers and full-time employees. And we rely 99% on volunteers who contribute on this workstation. But I'm really glad to tell you that through this experience, we found that the potential of cognitive surplus is huge and is a great potential to tap into. The reason why we want to share this with you at this networking launch is that we really believe that what I just showed, the social innovation network, should not be just something we use to develop our IHCA app or AI mental health coach. IHCA AI was launched by IHCA on our platform, but it could be so much more than that. We think a lot of different nonprofits, NGOs, or social good initiatives can tap into the potential of cognitive surplus. And they can do that in a similar way. So what we do is that we invite you to become the next project owner on our platform. If you are interested, we can offer collaboration tools, task systems, and contributor networks. I know right now it all sounds a little bit too good to be true and maybe too far-fetched, but through our practice, it actually works. So I want to introduce this platform to you. That is my presentation. Thank you so much. Okay. Now, let me introduce Mr. Fred. Give me 1 second. The co-founder and the director of AI for Good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that very interesting presentation, and thank you for the kind introduction. And first of all, I'd like to welcome you all and really thank the International Health Charity for all their work in making this come together. We've been doing AI for Good since 2017, and I think health was always the front runner of use cases that could do the most good and had the most potential. But also, because it is health, it's also probably the most complicated. And, there's no shortage of, high potential health applications that come across our desk every day. That's probably one of the most inspiring parts of my job. But how do you know those health applications work equally well on men or women, or on children or the elderly, persons with different skin colors, persons with disabilities, or in low resource settings where things like connectivity, access to data, compute, power, are things that we take for granted are actually real concerns. So these are not natural reflexes for a lot of developers, but I think these are things that all of you in this room think deeply about, and that's why I think it's so important that you all come together and talk about these things. And we were just talking actually with my neighbor at lunch here about the importance of language. And indeed, we're still in a situation where most of the large language models and applications are trained on English. Great, it's a start, but how's that going to work across 54 plus African countries where you have thousands of languages and dialects without talking about the rest of the world? And I think also another opportunity, which also occurred just a few minutes ago with our very quiet chat, is if you look at the opportunity of traditional medicine with modern medicine and how can you make connections between the two, I think that's also a huge opportunity. So breaking the barriers of language is definitely one, but also there's different approaches to medicine that I think could be leveraged. Just to tell you a story, this was I think in 2017 when Margaret Chan was still the DG of the WHO, and we were creating AI for Good. She came to me, she's like, Fred, my dream would be to somehow connect the dots between these two these two approaches in medicine, from modern medicine, traditional medicine, east, west, north, south, because she feels like there's a lot of knowledge that could be connected, a lot of connecting of the dots to be had, and I don't think it's either or. So I personally have tried both, and I think both can work in different situations. So with that, I think there's a lot of opportunities, a lot of things to work on. I don't want to stand between you and lunch, but just to say once again, thank you for your sponsorship, your support. It's good to see some friends, some familiar faces, but also some new faces who hopefully become new friends in the future. And with that, I thank you.
Thanks, Fred, for the kind words. Next, actually, we have a kind of a surprising, interesting session, which is the elevator pitch session. We asked some of the guests that come today if they want to share what they do, how they think about AI for good, and some of very kindly send their slides. So if I can have Professor James Marshall. Yeah.
Thanks very much for the invitation to attend, and I'll just pick up on a couple of things Fred said. So the context is Centre for Machine Intelligence at the University of Sheffield in the United Kingdom is a strategic investment in AI by the university, built around 4 key themes. As you might expect, engineering, manufacturing, robotics, and autonomous systems, which I won't talk about, but also human-centric AI and AI-enabled research. And in particular, bias in access to and outcomes of AI under the human-centric theme. And under AI-enabled research, we have a particular focus on AI for health. And just a few things that we have as unique advantages in Sheffield. We have a particular focus on multimodal data. If you look at the PyTorch ecosystem, of the 4 multimodal data systems, libraries we have, we're the only one which is not from a big 8 tech company. We also have secure data environments, excellent quality patient data from the local NHS trusts, teaching hospitals, and a secure data environment, ISO certified, where the patient data has to be secured to such a degree that you don't download a data set. Instead, you upload your machine learning algorithm, your AI algorithm to where the data sits. So we think this is a great opportunity for collaborations, and we're very interested in exploring partnerships. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much, Professor James Marshall. If I may have Professor Fabio Babinoni here. Yeah, let's welcome.
Okay. Good afternoon. The next 2 minutes, I would like to make a bridge with the last word, the different language. The brain has just one language, and if we are able to decode this kind of language, I suppose okay to be a video. If we are able to use this language, we can infer states about. No, I had some trouble to start the video for the presentation. However, the story is this. We can measure brain signals. We can understand from brain signals if you are tired, if you put up tension, if you are too much stressed, even when you drive an airplane, when you make a surgical operation in surgical theater, like if you be able to start this video, maybe. However, at 2 o'clock I have a workshop there with this plenty also in the space. in the Virgin Galactic space. So our brain has a unique language. We can decode that real time, and we know if the person is tired, stressed, or not. Even more, it is possible with a multivariate autoregressive model, blah, blah, blah. This is an example of EEG, electroencephalographer, taking the surgical room during surgical operation and to measure the degree of cooperation between members of the team. So we can measure mental stress, mental workload, attention of pilots of airplanes or car drivers or whatever, even surgeon at the surgical rooms. And we can measure and estimate by mathematical models something that capture the real team cooperation. And this is something that is beyond the verbal representation and can access, of course, there is the machine learning is behind that, is to gather the signal and to recognize which kind of pattern of EEG signal can be made. The EEG signal can be measured 30 seconds with a very simple stuff, very simple, 30 seconds, and we start to share this mental state with the machine. So we doesn't need which kind of device will be in the future, because like Bluetooth, if I have a Bluetooth phone, I can connect with any device, future device, that supports this. We call this system MindTooth, because we can send the mental state of the person to any kind of device, the airplane, the intelligence on the car, the intelligence that survey the control room. Thank you for your attention.
Thanks, Professor Babignoli, for this wonderful presentation. It is a pity that there are apparently some technical issues that the video cannot be shown, but I do encourage everyone to go search for Professor Babignoli's research. I'm sure there will be great presentations. And next, if I may have Professor Gita Kutiniuk. Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Gita Kutiniuk. I have a chair for Mathematical Foundations of Artificial Intelligence at the University of Munich, at the LMU Munich, and we aim to tackle two of the key problems of artificial intelligence these days. One is reliability. We all know that sometimes AI hallucinates, which is a particular concern in the medical sector. And the second is sustainability. We know that AI uses a huge amount of energy, so in that sense we also aim to tackle this. So let me go further. So we have these two research foci in my lab. One, as said, is reliability of AI. We approach this from a foundational, from a theoretical perspective, and aim to provide rigorous performance guarantees so that you then have, within model situations, 100% certainty about the outcome of AI, and also concerning explanation. Sometimes you see nice images which explainability algorithms produce, but what we do is we want to do that in a trustworthy way so that you can also trust your explanations. That's one direction. The other direction is, as I said, sustainability, and here we aim for disruptive, novel AI hard-software combinations for green AI, so also taking novel hardware like neuromorphic computing into consideration. I'm leading one of the main projects in this direction in Germany, which is next generation AI computing, which goes that route. And also I recently founded with colleagues a company in this direction, Ecologic Computing. And the figure which you see here, comes from the decadal plan of the US Semiconductor Research Corporation. And what it shows is that this energy problem is actually even more serious than one might think, because right now we are heading towards the world energy production. And this is a line which we should not reach. So if you're interested in this direction, sustainable AI, tomorrow I'm organizing a workshop the whole day, room V, so you're all very much invited. And concerning applications, we are interested in applications concerning critical infrastructure, in particular medicine, as you see, robotics, telecommunication, and so my ultimate vision for the future would be mathematically reliable and sustainable AI. Thank you very much.
thanks, Professor Coutinhoc, for this wonderful presentation. Next, give me 1 second. Oh, sorry. If I may have Dr. Sina Zar. Yes. Oh, yeah. Hi. Sorry. Do you have a PowerPoint? Okay. Sorry.
Thank you, and hi everyone. Because of some technical issues, we don't have a slide today, but I'll tell you very briefly a little story about my partner. She's a type 1, and she's been so for over 20 years. And she was only compensated with just 3 strips per day to check her glucose. Of course, now she uses CGM, but because of that lack of monitoring, she, well, basically got a lot of complications. One of them is retinopathy, problems with the eyes. Now, imagine a lot of people who can't afford to get CGMs, a lot of people who don't like pricking themselves. So this monitoring becomes an actual big issue. And diabetes is a sinister disease. It doesn't care if you're diagnosed or not. It impacts you from the day you get it. And the whole story that I just told you might resonate with a lot of you. And I use my voice to tell it. Now, what if I told you that there was more to voice than just storytelling? What if I told you that voice itself had a story to tell? So what we are building is a non-invasive solution. It's a software that listens to you, listens to your voice, and can detect if your sugar levels are high. We are based in Lithuania. No one can hear me? Well, you can or you can't? We hear you. You can? Okay, good. So we're good. All right. So, yeah, let me know if you can't hear me. All right, so what we are doing is now looking for, of course, partnerships and expansions globally. And you can find us near the booth in the frontier. I'm wearing this blue. You can find me easily. Come and talk to us if you would like to partner with us or invest in any way. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much for Dr. Zir. Right now, it wraps up of the sessions for this networking launch. I think the point of this pitches presentation is really get to know each other, and we really want to everyone to know what others are doing and what are potential opportunities for collaborations. So please, if you are inspired by any talks, any speakers of the day, please feel free to reach out. Don't hesitate to establish bridges and collaborations. And also, I think most of you have our email of IHCA, so please feel free to reach out anytime. So I won't take too much time in between you and your food. Please enjoy the lunch, and please enjoy conversations with your neighbors. Thank you.